Fire elemental artist, passion, transformation, power. Fire is not quiet. Fire does not wait. Fire does not ask for permission. If you are a fire elemental artist, your creativity does not arrive politely, it erupts. Don't sit down gently and decide to create. You feel it in your body. Heat, urgency, restlessness, pressure. Not creating hurts. Welcome to Pagan Crafting. Today we're diving into the elemental fire artist, the creator who works through passion, intensity, emotion, and momentum. Fire art is not about longevity, it is about ignition. And when fire is misunderstood, it burns out the artist instead of the world. Fire is an element of transformation. Fire is the element of the epitome of transformation. Nothing touches fire and stays the same. In creative work, fire shows up as obsession, urgency, emotional charge, a need to move through energy through the body. Fire artists don't just make art, they transmute emotion into form. Energy becomes color, desire becomes emotion, grief becomes heat. Fire is so powerful, not because it lasts forever, because it changes everything it touches. Fire artists are here to begin things. They're here to break stagnation and start movements. The energy of the fire artist is intense, expressive, bold. Fire artists often creative physically. They experience racing thoughts, tight hands, heat in the chest, restlessness until something is made. Art needs to be released. You may notice you create in bursts. You need music, candles, movement. You work in fast, then collapse. You go, 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 go until you release, till you haven't eaten. You need to pee, and then you need to sleep. Fire doesn't drip. It surges. This is not a flaw. This is your natural current. Fire materials and practices that are good for you. Fire responds best to reactive materials. That's why fire artists are drawn to bold colors, reds, golds, blacks, high contrast, mixed media. Nothing too controlled, a little more chaotic. Wax, candles, heat, burning techniques. Fire doesn't want perfection. It wants to impact, to experience the moment. This is where palette knives, alcohol inks, melted wax, scorched edges, ritual burning. This is where stops being mistakes becomes magic. Fire is allowed to be messy, raw, unfinished, emotionally honest. If the art is moved, the energy is worked. Now, some fire artist ideas for you for crafting. Candle carving with intention sigils emotions in candles, where the carving itself is part of the spell. Melted wax art, let the wax drip, pool, crack, scar the surface of your artwork. Fire teaches to surrender to the process. Red, gold paintings paint the body, not the hand. Big movements, fast strokes, no overthinking. Spell-infused objects such as talismans, charge art pieces infused with anger, release, confidence, desire, transformation, and passion. Fire art often carries a charge long after it's finished. Now, different signs that you are a fire artist. You might be a fire artist if you create in intense bursts. If your art reflects your mood, you feel in creativity physically. You start passionately and stop when the fire fades, leaving the work unfinished in the eyes of others. But to a fire artist, The energy of the piece is done and finished being experienced. The fire artists are often mislabeled as inconsistent, impulsive, undisciplined, but that's not the truth. Fire artist ignition specializes. Now, the hidden magic of fire. Fire is momentum driven, not routine driven. Fire is created through passion, obsession, emotional ignition. You are not meant to tend to the flame forever. You are meant to spark, unite, transform, move on. The fire brings breakthroughs, new ideas, new directions, creative rebirths. Without fire artists, nothing new begins. Now let's talk about fire shaming and unlearning it. Many fire artists carry shame. Yes. You may have heard you never finish anything. You are inconsistent if you just stuck with it. But fire is not wired for maintenance. Fire is wired for change. You are not broken. You are not lazy. You are not failing. Fire is meant to burn, not burn forever. It ignites and then it changes the landscape. Well, let's talk about fire and elemental blends. Fire and earth, for example, a combination. Fire's passionate energy merges with earth's stability, groundedness. For example, someone with the dominant fire element can benefit from earth's influence by adding practicality and stability to their drive, leading productive and sustainable creativity. Let's take fire and air, a combination worthwhile. Fire's energies, dynamic blend for intellectual and communicative nature. For example, an air dominant individual can harness fire's energy, infuse them ideas with passion, motivation, resulting in innovative, inspiring creativity. It is powerful combination. Fire and water combination. Fire's passion and intensity merge with water's emotional depth and adaptability. For example, a water dominant person can benefit from fire's influence by adding energy and drive to the emotional creativity, creating a balanced and passionate approach. Blending isn't about fixing, it is about supporting. Now, zodiac and fire artists. Fire signs: Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Fire signs are created through action, emotion, and momentum. They excel at bold, expressive art, mixed media, passion driven projects. Their challenge is not inconsistency, but is force to sustain instead of ignite. Now let's look at each fire signs. Aries. Action, painting, sculpture, movement-based art, fearless DIYs, first time trying new projects, innovation, try anything new. Leo, performance, theater, fashion design, mixed media, and luxury materials. Sagittarius, travel inspired art, outdoor, nature crafts, mixed media, collage, experience, nature based journaling. Now, fire seasons and directions. Fire aligns with the south and summer. Summer is the season of visibility, expression, yes, passion, and creative bursts. Fire artists thrive when energy is high, the expression is encouraged, and perfection is not demanded. But remember, fire burns not forever. Summer is about expression, not endurance. If your creativity comes in waves of obsession and intensity, if you feel your art in your body before your mind, if creation feels like a release, an urgency, or heat, fire may be your spark. Stop asking it to behave like earth. Stop shaming it for what it's not being with water. Stop caging it for air rules. For fire is allowed to be fire. It creates powerful transformation magic. So please join me in my next video as we dive into air elemental artists on our next video with the 5-part series. Tell me in the comments what you love creating, and most of all, let me know what you are, if you are a fire elemental artist, or if this is one of your secondary elements. And I would love to see you on the next video. See you with air.